So the way this thing is set up, you got a spiritual world, and then you got the physical world. The spiritual world is infinite, but it's comprised of all these layers. You got the in-between realm, astral, dream realm, shit like that. And magnetism, like literal magnetism, is what brings the physical world into fruition. Okay? That's why we use the terms like imagination. See how you see the word magnetic in there? And magic. Oh, can't get away from that magnetism. A long time ago, beings lived in harmony and knew this. So they made sure to be on one accord and to remain in harmony. And that's how they lived in what you would call like a paradise type of situation. And everything was opposite. It was a celebration to actually pass on and transcend. Instead of like today, it's a sad thing to die. Because what you're really seeing is not individuals actually sad that someone passed on, because you see they sacrifice each other. But what you're seeing is a program reacting to another individual leaving the matrix. Like, no, don't leave. Stay in this bitch and be a slave. No. You get what I'm saying? So the magnetism creates the physical world. That's why you can touch it, see it, feel it. But you just can't understand it or explain it. They just call it God. And then on another note, the individuals who was pretty good at the physical world was called Magi's, M-A-G-I. So when you were a kid, you use your imagination, right? So as you grow older and mature, you use your magic. And if you navigate it well through the physical realm, you earned the title Magi. Basically like how the folks was trying to play dumb still, like they don't know that back in the day, a lot of the beings, including our ancestors, we would use that imagination in the form of telepathy in order to move those big stones to make Stonehenge, to put together those stones to make the pyramids, right? And then they keep on marveling, saying, we don't have that technology today. How was they doing that then? That school of thought right there is a psyop. But because they keep on bringing it up, they be unlocking certain people with they dumb motherfucking ass. But in a way, they kind of want that, or the Matrix wants that, to see how many people left or around who still can get activated and woke up to seeing this reality for what it is type shit. So it kind of like steps on his own foot in order to expose how many John Connors is around, in order to put together, you know, a psyop to terminate them, right? And on the other video, I was talking about how a lot of the larger portion of society is soulless. That's what allows the Skynet to work so proficiently, other than these devices we use. Because everybody plays their role and their part in making this shit a prison, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And I said the proof of this was that they understand not to let nobody do them any old kind of way. But they never see that the system itself is doing them any old kind of way. And I also said that if they had souls, they would recognize these type of things. And what they would do is correct themselves and see that the system itself is the source of all this shit and causing all this chaos and calamity type shit. And then it would cause everybody to be on one accord, on one page. And then the Matrix would lose its grip. And then all these devices would have no fortitude. They wouldn't matter. Because as long as everybody know they participating in being an agent, Smith, they can stop themselves. But nope. They'll come at you on some bullshit. But if the police being dirty and coming at them on some bullshit, they freeze up. But in the end, you don't get the win anyway, so you might as well stand up to pee instead of sit down. But you can't tell no program that shit, because that's why it's here. It's here to keep you boxed in while pretending to be like you. And you fall for these things and think it's your family and shit like that. And it is your family, the motherfucker you was assigned to. But in reality, while in this matrix, this world has been hijacked. So all of the things that we would associate with being some real shit, it's some fake shit. So these are just motherfuckers you was assigned with because the Watchers helped you come through the portal and threw a bunch of math on your ass to calculate where your spiritual energy belong at, so it can always be governed in a certain kind of way. See, they always started with the people first. Make them a form of technology, so no one will suspect it. So that's why people so seldomly forget how the spiritual realm plays role in things. Because a lot of the stuff around us is already pretty much quarantined and governed by one single philosophy that's been continuing to appear like it's evolving over time. But what it's really doing is it's setting a path to gradually move us along to the end portion of what it wants us to be. You see different things out here, like women get protected in society no matter if they in the wrong. Narcissists get protected in society even if they in the wrong. They promote transsexualism. People who what you would call gay get protected in society even if they in the wrong. And people who pick that kind of shit apart, individually lose sight on the system part of it, which is basically transhumanism. You ever notice, like, when they get two people together, one might have spirit potential and the other one might be a complete bot. You can't really tell the difference, right? Unless they, obey the system a certain kind of way. Or here go another one that's tricky, that'll throw you off. They get away with getting over on the system without getting caught, which is them not really getting over. The system know it's doing that, but what it's doing is making sure you see that shit as a person with a soul, so then you think they're like you and they can be trusted. Yeah, I know it get confusing, like an episode of Star Trek, don't it? So it's like, damn, who can I trust? You trust that intuition inside you. That's what you trust. Homeboy, homegirl, that's who you trust. You trust yourself. Because if you was in outer space, hypothetically, and you was in your own spaceship, you're not about to open your spaceship without a spacesuit and go out and explore shit and help motherfuckers. If you about to stop breathing, you gonna keep that motherfucking spaceship closed till you get to your destination. And that's how you gotta look at this reality if you got a soul. You can't let motherfuckers doubt yourself, second guess what you really felt the first time. You know what I mean? But you don't want to be like, oh yeah, fuck you, all that type of shit. Sometimes you gotta just keep that shit to yourself and just observe. Because sometimes you might be in a situation where you just gotta play that role out and hope you get out that situation till you get to the next situation. They call that shit faking it till you make it type shit. You can't always avoid putting yourself in those situations unless you decide to get on up out of here. And that's why they always talk against. Yeah, they talk against that shit. And we know what we talking about. Suicide. Getting yourself up out of here. Exiting the game. They try to make it seem like it's a bad thing. Like they got morality and shit. But then you living in a world where I just explained. They get two people together. One have a soul, one don't. And they make sure they have a kid. And usually it's the woman who don't. And then next thing you know, she don't want to be with the dude no more. How she putting him on child support and shit. And biting his motherfucking head off. Just like the praying mantis do, the female praying mantis do to the male. Or the fucking black widow spider do to the male. That ain't no motherfucking coincidence or no accident how that shit be happening like that. That shit all just by design. That keeps the Matrix in control over the people. And then sometimes you got a woman who got the spirit and the soul. She just can't quite run into a guy that's evenly yoked. As long as you down here in this Matrix, the only time you'll ever be evenly yoked with somebody is if y'all both narcissists. Other than that, she'll get with the dude. Don't try to put him on child support. But he bring chaos to her life. They eventually have to leave each other alone. He don't want shit to do with them kids. He be leaving her hanging. And they give her chance after chance. And she give him chance after chance. Because she believe in the Bible and forgiveness and all that type of shit program. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Because originally, that's how the original humans or the beings here before the Draco got here and turned this shit into a Matrix operated. But yeah. So, Words like magnificent. Google that shit, since that's what we use to learn shit in the dictionary. That MAG word is a powerful word. It brings the physical realm here. You see? But everything originates from the spiritual. Right? And then it's broken up into different compartments, different dimensions. So basically this place is just one big mind with some motherfucking magnetic powder sprinkled all in it, so things can vibrate slow, and then you can knock on it and feel it, touch it. So yeah, is magic real? Of course. But it's not like how you think it is. It's just being able to use your mind outwardly, right, into the physical, or being able to create a doorway from the spiritual into the physical. You know, like an ascended master. Magi. See, the ancestors knew not to open these doors and shit. They knew that darkness lurked on the other side if you did the wrong things. So a lot of these different technologies and stuff that we use it now would have never existed, because they pointless. They actually primitive. Because the further we get technologically advanced, the dumber we get. That's why they call the devices smart, because we getting dumber. And that's the point, right? Pretty soon a nigga like me ain't gonna want to be in this motherfucking shit. I would love to be able to teleport out this hole and go to a normal world where a soul like me belong at. You know? Sometimes you wish you can go to sleep, and when you dream, just walk away in your dream. But nope, you get pushed back into this body because of the magnetism. And then you wake back up in this motherfucking shit so it can use your ass for a battery. Right? A lot of the times, most of the stuff you go through out here, you just going through it so it can extract your energy. It's called a loose grab. They was showing us this type of shit on motherfucking Monsters Inc. You know what I'm saying? They go through the door, scream at the kids, you know, rah, and the kids get scared and scream, and they collect their screams. When this reality annoys the shit out of you in one way or another and puts you in scenarios, and it causes you to feel whatever it is you feel, anguish, worry, all that type of shit, it's feeding off that shit to generate the matrix part. And that's why people always saying this shit fake, because that's fake. That's the Transformers, right? The original beings who was here was the Autobots. And the motherfuckers who came after is the Decepticons, right? And if you ever go to the original cartoon, they got this on the cartoon. They don't got this on the movies. They got this thing called Energon. You know, I already said that in another video. And the Autobots have a spark. So they was letting you know even back in the 80s when them fucking cartoons came out what was going on with that shit. Because they only know their reality. Even though they can come up with all these different ones by hacking everybody's dream over all these, you know, eons, however long this motherfucking matrix been here, resetting itself to be able to come up with these different movies and shit. because they tap into the magic. Anyway, that's just another motor running series. I'm about to slide.